Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Property Subcommittee today, Wednesday, the 6th of November, 2024. Item number 1 on the agenda is apologies. Do we have any apologies for absence, Ms. Peach?
Thank you, Chair. One received by Councillor Price. Thank you.
Can I add to that, Councillor DeVille, please? Agenda item number 2 is declarations of interest. Does anybody have any declarations of interest? Looking at committee members, nobody. Agenda item number 3 is the minutes of the meeting held on the 4th of September 2024. Can I have your approval that that represents a correct record of the meeting? Accurate? Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 4 is leased community transport link Doxy Stafford, and that is brought to you by Councillor Philip White, Cabinet Member for Economy and Skills. Councillor White, we're with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Leader. So this is a proposal for a 1 year lease of the of this site in Doxy to the Community Link Stafford and District at a rent of £1 per annum. It's a much valued local service and one that we're keen to support insofar as we're able to within the other responsibilities that we have as a county council. There's some detail to go into, and I think I'm probably safest to pass over to John Flynn, who prepared the report, who can go into that, and then I'll wash up with any other points. Also note that we've got the local member in the room, Councillor Winnington, and I'm sure will want to say a word or two about it. Over to you, Mr. Flynn.
Yeah, thank you, Philip. Yes, they have been there for the last, I think, two years at least. I think we were here in October last year looking to get them for you to approve a lease for a year. That lease expired at the beginning of last month. The land is a part of the former Sangaban buildings that we took when we built Swart. We obviously have knocked the buildings down. We have been doing some site investigation works this year to see what it looks like. You'll be aware that there was an offer of some LUF funding that was offered at the back end of last year to help remediate the land. That hasn't as of yet been confirmed, but say we have been doing some site investigation works which we do need to do to understand the site. So that work is still happening. We've had the first report come through that there may be some more work to be done. So we're happy for them to stay for up to a year. We have put in the ability to get out of the lease both from ourselves and from their side. For ourselves, obviously, if the LUF funding does come through, then we may have a need to get onto the site at some point in time. I suspect the earliest would be the middle of next year. They may wish to break the lease on the basis of Stafford Borough have mentioned to them and to us that they think they have a home for them on a site that they have got. They mentioned that to us about 6 months ago, and they mentioned that to the Link person as well. They haven't confirmed where that is, so we don't know where it is and whether it is of use. So it is for up to a year with the abilities to break both on our side and on their side.
So I think Mr. Flynn's covered it pretty well there. So we're trying to be a good friend to a valued organisation in Stafford for as long as we're able to, and whilst they actively pursue that long-term base that they're seeking to achieve. So hopefully the terms proposed allow us to do that in a way that doesn't tie our hands in terms of that long-term regeneration of the site, which we're very much hoping will be confirmed by the government through the Levelling Up Fund round 3 funding that we're expecting will be delivered to allow us to get onto that site and start regenerating it. In the meantime, this is really good use for it, and we'd really like to be able to do that whilst the site is vacant.
Councillor Winnington, local member, your views are clearly very, very welcome. Would you like to add anything to what's been said already?
I would, please. First of all, I'm going to sort of obviously agree with this because it was me that set it up probably 4 or 5 years ago now. The Community Link do a great job basically moving people around Stafford and the surrounds in almost a voluntary basis, but there's a fantastic unsung heroes coming on from that site. Two things I'm just slightly concerned about. First of all, if you look at 4.2, it says there about government announcing a grant of levelling up funds, which has just been mentioned by John. If those two parts of the question, you might not be able to answer it. When do we expect those funds, and what impact will it have on the area? Because there's 1 or 2 problems in that area, and if we haven't got the funds to actually remediate it, it changes the emphasis on that. And then the second one, again, concerns me. I am a borough councillor, but the borough council have suggested there's a site 6 months ago, but I understand they haven't actually told county where that site is, and they haven't actually come forward with any solid propositions. So do we know the answers to those 2 questions?
So as you've rightly indicated, this is it's a borough council project. The Levelling Up Fund is delivered through the borough council. So as a borough council, I'm sure you'll be able to avail yourself of a full update from them. The short answer in terms of when would we expect the announcement on the funding, I think we would hope that post-budget that we would have that certainty before the end of the year, but it's outside of our control. That's a matter for the I think for the Deputy Prime Minister to announce that along with the Chancellor. So we very much hope they'll do that. It's much needed for Stafford. In terms of the fine detail of what's within the plan and the concerns that you've got, I think those are matters for the borough. But I'm sure we'll try and be as helpful as we can in eliciting any answers, unless John has a magic answer which he can offer now.
No, I haven't got an answer. I think in the budget it did mention the LUF funding, and it did say it would confirm core LUF funding. Now, we don't know what core means for first start, but it did make reference to LUF funding. I have been in touch with the MP or through her sort of office to ask whether or not she can push on that. I believe she had a meeting with the minister yesterday, but they said they would ring me. Obviously, yes, it makes a huge difference as to what we can do with the site if the money is there or it's not there. And as in terms with the borough, yes, we just need the borough to tell us, or to tell both us and the Link people, where is this site? It was mentioned to us both six months back.
We have to narrowly confine ourselves to the approval or not of a lease. The questions you've raised are broader questions, and to the members of the committee, I think it is important that whilst those broader issues do need answers, the question on the table for decision is whether or not we would be granting a lease of land to Community Link Stafford and District at Doxy Stafford. From what you said as a local member, they're a well-valued service, and from the rationale that's been set out by Councillor White and Mr Flynn, it seems like it's a logical thing to do. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the actual application itself and the merits of it?
No, I think it says there it fulfills county council priorities to be healthier and more independent, and to feel safer, happier and more supported in the community. So it ticks 2 boxes there.
Before I go to other committee members for their views, can I just go around the usual table, please? So first up is Finance. Where are you? Here we go.
No further comments.
Legal?
No further comments, thank you.
Valuation?
The only comment I would make is who is responsible for actually doing the repairs to the tarmac? Presumably, or is anybody going to do the repair? Obviously, we don't want to have a situation where we're liable for significant damage to vehicles if the rough state of the tarmac causes damage to vehicles. So as long as we can exclude that in some way as possible, that's all my only comment.
Legal, back to you.
we receive instructions on that, we can incorporate it into the lease. We can discuss that.
Okay. Mr Turner?
No comments from me, thank you.
Okay, heard from the local member and the various departments. Any comments from members of the committee? Back with you for the recommendations, please.
Okay, so there are two recommendations. Firstly, that approval is given to the leasing of land at the above property to Community Link Stafford and District at a rent of £1 per annum, if demanded, for the parking of vehicles in connection with activities and providing transport to people with mobility difficulties. The lease would be for a maximum of 1 year, incorporating 2 monthly break clauses for either, and with Part 2 Rights Landlord and Tenant Act 1954 security of tenure excluded, commencing on the cessation of the previous lease. Secondly, to delegate to the Head of Regeneration and Strategic Projects all actions and decisions to enable the completion of the lease.
The addendum to that, of course, is the comments we've just made about insulating ourselves from any claims against the deterioration of the tarmac. So I'm just looking at legal whilst I say that. Somebody from legal looking back at me. Yes, there we go. Right. Thank you very much indeed. Agenda item number 5 is lease to...
Should we vote on it?
Oh, we need to vote on it. That's always a good thing to do, isn't it? In a democratic organisation. Okay, here we go.
Agreed.
Excellent. Right, we're agreed. Phew, that was close. Agenda item number 5 is lease to Mary Howard School, former detached fields. Councillor Parry, please.
Thank you, Chair. For transparency, this is, has you as the local member, so we're aware of that. This is a recommendation for a lease for a piece of land that's adjacent to the village hall in Eddingale Parish Council. And they've confirmed that they've been maintaining the area on behalf of the school. The school has paid them to do so. The parish council also maintain the adjacent land held by the village hall. The proposal is therefore that they have recently passed a motion offering to lease the land for a period of 10 years subject to a peppercorn rent on a full repair and liability basis. And they wish to use this for recreation and community activities. It seems like a sensible community usage and would appear, well, we're going to be told whether there is options and alternative uses and values for it.
Finance.
No further comments.
Legal.
No comment, thank you.
Yeah. There's no words came out of your mouth then.
You didn't hear me. No comments, thank you.
Oh, you did say that. Okay. Valuation.
No, I'm quite happy with the comments made on the undervalue in the report.
Mr Turner.
No comments from me, thank you.
Local member. The parish council has been asking me for arrangements to be made to accommodate this. This is the culmination of that, and I support that application. Back with you, Councillor Parry.
Okay, the recommendation therefore is to grant a full repair lease for a term of 10 years to the trustees of Eddingale Village Hall on behalf of on the former playing field at a peppercorn rent, subject to condition the land can only be used for recreational and community purposes. The lease to be excluded from protection from the Landlord and Tenant Act. Final terms to be delegated to the Assistant Director for Commercial Assets to implement this decision as subject to above. I move.
So am I supposed to ask if people want to vote on this now?
Yes, please.
Yes, right. All those in favour?
Agreed.
That's carried. Thank you. Move then forward to the lease to Veritas Primary Academy, Western Road, Beaconside, Stafford. Councillor Parry.
Beg your pardon. So this is the completion, therefore, of a 1-to-5-year lease to the academy of land, which I believe they took up a shorter lease when the school was originally built and opened back in 2015. So this is in a sense is to extend that into the normal academy lease period. And this is the Veritas Academy on Western Road there.
Finance.
No comments.
Legal.
No comment, thank you.
Valuation.
No, it's a standard academy lease, so I have no comment. Thank you.
Got anybody from education today? No. Mr. Turner?
I'm representing Stuart or Jason, who would normally do that. It's just to say this was delayed because to give the school all the land that they required, we had to acquire some off the police, and that proved to be a protracted process because of other properties that they wanted to discuss at the same time. So we are just regularising this now. Thank you.
Local member, for this particular agenda item happens to be you, Ms. Peach, so you're today John Francis.
None received, Chair. Thank you.
You could have delivered it in a Councillor Francis type style, though, couldn't you? Right. Before we go back to the Councillor Parry, any comments? No? Councillor Parry, back with you.
So I recommend, therefore, that the completion of a 125-year lease, year academy lease of the school buildings, parking and playing field to reach to Academy Trust. The final details and transaction be delegated to the Assistant Director for Commercial and Assets.
It's been moved. Those in favour?
Agreed.
Right. Moving on then to agenda item number 7, exclusion of the public. I move that the public be excluded from the meeting for the following items of business which involve the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in the paragraphs of Part 1 of Schedule 12A as amended of the Local Government Act 1972 as indicated below.